Right, I guess we're live. Hello, everyone. My name is Christian, and I'm the AI consulting lead at NetGuru. And we are starting actually totally new webinar formula. So today with me, I've got Patryk Szczygło. So Patryk, maybe you can introduce yourself and tell a little bit more about what we are up to in this new series.
Yeah, sure. So, hello, I'm Patryk. I'm R&D lead, and I'm taking care of introducing new technologies for our clients, for our organization. And one of these technologies is AI. And today we'll talk about AI. And in this series, we'll talk more about the technical stuff, more interesting, I believe, for developers. Um, but not necessarily because we will start from really basics and go up further with examples how to run different models and how to work with AI in general.
Cool, super cool. So this one will be totally like more practical, right? So in the first one, we will cover what are AI models, where to find them, how to start with this domain. But actually, we are planning also the next four webinars, and the next. So most likely, those will be in like 2 weeks period. So the next one will be about how to make a private assistant on your computer to support you at work. Right. Okay, cool. So each will be around 30 minutes, 100% hands-on practical. So yeah, let's get it started maybe. So I guess today we will talk around about AI models, right? So AI models is like we had this conference 2 days ago. I know that AI is Apple Intelligence, right? So yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So what are those AI models? Maybe you can give this overview. What is a
Yes,
AI model? Where can I use it?
of course. So maybe I will screen share
Sure.
and show you a few things. So the
Mm-hmm.
first thing is where to even find the models.
Mm-hmm.
And to find the models, Hugging Face, I think, is the best place because for it's like GitHub for developers. So if you search for some code for programs, algorithms, or anything, you go to GitHub and search for some libraries, for some algorithms, some code there. If you need to find something for AI, machine learning, Hugging Face is like the best place to go there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are into AI, you will probably need to know this service, this web page.
Yeah.
So
In
you,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Just to maybe add one more thing here. If there is anyone that is starting, so also like to explain maybe what is the AI model. Maybe you can tell it on your own word. What is actually the AI model itself?
yeah, sure. So AI model is like a program, it's like a black box something. So you
Yeah.
have some input, you have some magic, let's say, and we have some
Mm-hmm.
output. And we can say model is doing this magic. And if you give some input, for example, text with description of an image, put it into the model and it will generate as an output some image. You can do it also with text. For example, write me an email to Christian about XYZ.
Yeah.
Model it, you give the input to the model and it outputs like the written email. And the magic that happens in the model is about machine learning algorithms. There are many different types, and right now the most popular are around transformers.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like, mm, this is really important that these models are not like hard coded.
Yeah.
They learn like, I would say, people. So you have like a lot of numbers inside and they trigger one by another by probabilities. And based on these probabilities, you get some output. But
Mm-hmm.
make it more clear, if you give it a lot of text, for example, and a lot of sentences, it will learn the distribution of it, the probabilities. And then if you ask, write me an email, so in most cases, after write me an email, you start like, dear Christian, how are you? And so on.
Mhm.
And it learns probabilities.
Right. So what you said, and I know that we will cover it also further on, is that AI model is some kind of computer program that has been trained, right, on a particular set of data. We will also talk about data sets later on today to recognize some patterns, right, or make a certain decision without, let's say, further human intervention, right? This is very kind of classical AI model description. All right, cool. So you mentioned about Hugging Face, right? We started from the Hugging Face as a totally, as you mentioned, GitHub or Wikipedia, or maybe rather GitHub for AI models.
Yes, exactly. So this is like the AI community for building the feature as they advertise themselves. And here are a few things that you need to be aware of. They have this trending on this page, which is really cool to just review from time to time to see what is like interesting right now. And here you have like a lot of more things. But the most important are those like three tabs here at the top. So you have models, data sets, and spaces. So let's maybe go to models. And if you click models, it will open this page. And you have a lot of things here. And there are two important parts. These are the models, and these are the filters. So here you can filter what you need. Basically, for example, you can say we want text to image. And we will get some text to image like Stable Diffusion and other SDXL Turbo and other models that we can use for it. So here we can quickly find them. So maybe I will show you a few examples of different models.
Sure, that would be great.
Perfect. So let's start maybe with some text. Microsoft prepared pretty cool models. i3, medium, they have 128K context window, which is really big. As you remember last year, like GPT had like 8K, so 8,000 only tokens. Right now we have open source models that are free that have over 1,000 tokens. So you can literally put some books in here and it will be able to read it. And Microsoft prepared for us in different formats, which is really cool because we have like for Hugging Face, for ONNX, GGUF, and other different formats. So basically what it means, you can run it on many different types of software. And with these AI models, you have always like some summary, what is it? And something how to use it. And this is pretty important because with how to use it, we have some snippet of code. As you can see, it's like, I don't know, 50 lines of code. And basically you copy this, paste it to Python script, you run it, and it should work out of the box. This is really cool because right now it's so high level to run like such a model that you literally need like, I don't know, from 10 to 50 lines of code, which is in most cases in this README, and you can run it straight away. And at the end, you have always like some consideration about responsibility, some things about data set that were used and training, and often
I see that
benchmarks, how it
this
compares
training.
with different.
Yeah, sorry. I see that this training area might be very interesting for some of the people. I guess that there is some context on how they got this data to train the actual model, right? So this is, let's say, potentially relevant information and some, parameters on how actually model was trained. I see that there are even some hardware information, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Always they give the specification, and we can see here few important things. It has 14B parameters. So what is a parameter? Parameter is like one number, one probability in the machine learning model. So it has 14 billion probabilities to give us some text. The more you have, the more parameters you have, the better the model will be. In most cases, let's say. And they say here also how they train these models. So they used two techniques that you can like look in the internet. We won't go deeper into here. And also there is like a training data. So they used 4.8 trillion tokens. Token is
Mm-hmm.
like a word, let's say. So they used a ton of text to train these 14 billion like probabilities. So,
Right.
and we have also some information about the data set and some technical report where we can like dive deeper into it.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So this is, for example, something for the text that is like top notch, let's say, from open source perspective, because it's really small, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
As you saw, it's like 14 billion parameters. So in most cases, you could run it on like a MacBook
Mm-hmm.
M1 series or something.
Yeah.
Also, they've made like the vision version, which is really cool. Recently, OpenAI introduced GPT-4o, the
Yeah.
Omni version,
Yeah.
and Microsoft also released the free vision, which is also like the Omni version because it supports also like the images. So you don't need to only like uh, give only the text, but you can also paste the image and it will answer, for example, what is shown on the image. And as you can see, we have the snippet here that you can
Mm-hmm.
just copy, paste, and use in your programs straight away.
Right. So you mentioned also about data sets, right? And I guess this is a very relevant part of it. So maybe we can jump and tell a little bit more about those.
Yeah, sure, of course. So mm, let me show you. So we have different models. We have like this he free, medium, and
Mm-hmm.
so on. That is just text to text. We have also like image and text to text. We have also, for example, diffusion models. And this
Mm-hmm.
diffusion model is like the text to image. And we have, for example, Bark that is like text to audio. So we have
Mm-hmm.
different types of models. And to train them, we need some data sets. And to get these data sets, we need like a lot of data because, as you saw previously,
Yeah.
4.8 trillion tokens. So it's a ton of text. And we have like data sets here. And in data sets, we can go there and see a lot of different things. And I will show you like few different examples, but these data sets doesn't differ from the model space. So here you have data sets, and on the left you can have like the filters. So you can
Mm-hmm.
easily find, like, for example, you want text to image, you click there, and you get only 3,000 over almost 4,000 data sets about text to image.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, here you have the whole Wikipedia.
Yeah.
You have everything from Wikipedia here from a certain date. And for example, for Polish Wikipedia, we have, where is it? PL.
So this is literally data set of Wikipedia
Exactly.
that you can
Everything.
download and use for your model purposes.
Exactly. So here we have, for example, 1.6 million rows of the text with information from Wikipedia. So we have the title and the text. So we can use Wikipedia to train our datasets, for example. We
Mm-hmm.
can also use, for example, Google prepared image in words, special model that allow us to precisely describe the images. So, for example, if you want to create some GPT-4o model on your own, you can use this to have data sets that really precisely describes, for example, a cat, a lamp, how it's shaped, what is the base, that is ceramic, it's the white lamp, and so on. So you get a pretty precise description that can be used later for other models.
Mm-hmm.
And we need a lot of text, so we use these data sets basically.
All right, cool. So maybe now you can tell us a little bit how models are, how data sets are related to the model, how you can combine that.
How we can combine data sets to models. Okay.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned, the models are like some probabilities based on data
Mm-hmm.
sets. So some people call it like compression. So for example, if we take this Wikipedia that I have here, so if we take Wikipedia, we try to compress everything from here to the probabilities. So
Mm-hmm.
instead of text, we get a lot of different numbers. And then this model is compressed to like 14 billion out of, for example, 4 trillion tokens to 14 billion. So we get like some loosey compression because we lose some data in the process. So then if we give an input about something to the model, we don't get exactly the same output like from the Wikipedia or something, but it's somehow rewritten based on the probabilities. And this
Mm-hmm.
is why sometimes the models hallucinate or say wrong things, because probabilities after certain words are different for different things. So it can hallucinate a lot sometimes, especially if we talk about like new stuff that the model doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the case especially with the older models, that because the models has this knowledge cutoff, because
Yeah.
data sets was like cut off and then trained, and during the training period you cannot add like new data and anything. So if you asked later about like some um, about something that happened in the like future of the model, because it has cut off on 2023, and you ask about something from this year, it could hallucinate a lot because it didn't have any knowledge about it. So this is how the data sets and models relate. So we have huge
Mm-hmm.
data set that will let train our model. So we compress the data set into the model, we have smaller model, and then we can like ask this model about
The
what do
data.
you know, basically.
Yeah. So you mentioned about Hugging Face. Are there any other similar platforms that could be used?
Yes, there are the few. There is, for example, the Kaggle,
Mm-hmm.
and Kaggle is also like the largest, I think, AI ML community, because there is a lot of open source stuff, and there is a lot of also competitions here, and people here try to solve some issues,
Mm-hmm.
some challenges,
Yeah.
and this is also the great place to take a look. Mm, and mostly I use only Hugging Face and Kaggle. I don't go to any other web
Okay.
pages. Kaggle is little different, but because it's for mostly like researchers, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
and learners. And Hugging Face is more about the commercial side of it. So here you can easily download the models and start building your applications. On
Mm-hmm.
Kaggle, you can like research different things and focus more on this aspect of learning, in my opinion.
Okay, okay. Yeah, this is also what I know from my perspective. Usually there is, very specific, let's say, machine learning curve where to start when you are starting with machine learning. And very often people are saying that Kaggle is a good place to, when you are somehow, let's say, intermediate or medium kind of let's say in kind of medium experience, Kaggle is a good place to start with solving some basic challenges and learn more. So yeah. All right. So you mentioned about datasets models. So to make it also, from your practical perspective, how to, run it, how to test it, how to use it practically from your perspective.
Yes, of course. So on a Hugging Face, as I mentioned, we have like three most important parts. We have the models, dataset, but they have also spaces. So
Mm-hmm.
if we take a look at the spaces, we can discover amazing AI applications made by the community. And
Mm-hmm.
this is literally running the different models. And here you have like examples of different uh, applications that use some models. So we can take a look, for example, AI Comic Factory. It will load something and let us generate something. We can pick the style, we can pick the grid for our comic, and then we can give a story, the style, and go. And we'll get like the a comic book.
Mm-hmm.
There are also different models. For example, there is a space called Unique 3D, and we can generate like 3D model of something. Let me click generate. Let's try it. And as you can see, it will start processing. Always the time is pretty long. For example, we'll have to wait over 1 minute because it's limited, it's free. You can quickly go to the spaces, pick the model that you want to test, and just to run it. It will be really slow, but it's important that you just want to, click, see the output, see the input, how it behaves, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And you can easily also find the space from the model page, because if you have this model page on the right, you have some spaces using this model, and you
Mm-hmm.
can like take a look here and find like the best space for you. The same is, for example, with some stable diffusion. There is a lot, over like 100 different spaces, so you can go there, click any of the spaces, and see something here.
Mm-hmm.
And
So, in other words, we have models, then we have related data sets, and then we have spaces. And spaces are like an demo app gallery, right? To get the feeling what the model is capable of. And as you mentioned, it might be kind of limited because I guess that this is it's running on some machine basically that is not optimized to be used like widely, right? But basically this is to present the capabilities of the model.
exactly. So my workflow is, when I look at some models, because I
Mm-hmm.
find them interesting, I look also over the spaces to like quickly test it. For example, here we have like 3D model made out of this image,
Yeah.
of this bag, and it's pretty good. So I
Yeah.
can see that in the future, maybe I could use this model to generate like 3D models of something. I
Mm-hmm.
can also go, for example, here I have like SDXL Flash,
Yeah.
and here I have like prepared some examples ready to use. So let's see a cat eating a piece of cheese. Let's
Mm-hmm.
generate for it. And we need, of course, to wait, but in few seconds, minutes, I hope we'll have the image. So this is how I basically proceed with everything.
Yeah.
So I go find the model, then find the space, try to test it, how it works, and then we can move further with our research.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, cool. Are there also any other spaces that you found interesting? Because I see that there are some, spaces of the week. So this is definitely, a community driven. And I see that there is almost like more than 8,500 of spaces currently available on Hugging Face.
Yes, there is a lot of spaces. Basically, here you can like sort by trending, most liked, most likes, and so on.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a lot of it, so you need to try it by yourself. But the most like popular, as we can see, are stable diffusion, something for generating music.
Mm-hmm.
Here is the Bark that I mentioned earlier for text to voice, text to audio. We have DALI, for example. We have some leaderboards, and these leaderboards are awesome because if we go, for example, to this OpenLLM leaderboard, as you can see here, we have different models, and people are testing those models against themselves, and you can see like the average score of it. And right now, for example, these models gives the best results, and then
Mm-hmm.
we can find the best open source model for our purpose, especially as they test against different benchmarks, so we can see where which model give us the best results.
Mm-hmm. And this is also like very practical if you're thinking about some business application. You can verify the benchmark and start to, test it from the best to last perspective, right? And potentially verify whether it's applicable for your business application.
Exactly. Right now, especially with the RAG system, so RAG system. So if you create, for example, your own business environment and you need to search through documents, you need some model to select relevant parts of your documents and find them. And for example, you have this massive text embedding benchmark. And here you have like different models that are great at searching and picking like particular pieces of text, so you can use it in the future.
All right. So using it in the future, let's say, if you already have the model, you could verify the data sets, you tested this model, or at least some capabilities on this in the spaces. What is the actual next step in your uh, in your in your case? What you're doing next?
So when I find like the best data set for me, I check the specification of it. So for example, if we have this high free medium and so on, I check how many parameters it has. So it has like 14 billions parameters. So I know, should I run this on my computer directly on my MacBook, or should I use the cloud and some GPUs hardware to run this model? If I have something smaller, I run it directly. So I just copy paste this code and start simple from this part. If I need something more powerful with GPUs and everything, then I go to the cloud. So I just buy a virtual machine there, and I put this code into the virtual machine to test it. Does it work? And then I can build on top of it. I believe in the future episodes of these webinars will show you how to run these models on your computers and how to use them basically in different scenarios, because we'll probably use this free stable diffusion and everything to create some cool outputs.
All right. So one of my last question here is, around knowing more. So how to, learn more about the, let's say, AI models and stuff? Are there any materials or channels that are recommended by you?
So I think the best source will be these webinars. So join the next one, obviously. But truly, there are like two things. One is from MIT. MIT has great courses about deep learning, and deep learning is part of this machine learning, and especially is about this creating such a models using such data sets to make different models. So you can see on MIT channel, we'll send a link after that. And another thing is Andrei Karpathy. He's the best, I think, the expert that explains how the models works. So you can also check his channel and his work.
Specifically around deep neural networks, right? So, all right, cool. Thank you very much. We made it in 30 minutes. I believe quite good overview on where to start training the model, learning about the models, not training them, but basically learn about also how they were trained, and most, I guess, useful for day-to-day practical operation is the ability of testing them also in spaces on the Hugging Face, so that you don't need to run everything on your local machine or buy cloud GPUs, because might not be worth it always. So very good, you can test it and then further implement. And some recommendations in terms of getting the knowledge from the MIT courses or Andrei. So thank you very much, Patryk. So we will see each other on the next episode, which will be about private assistants, some relevant business cases around it, how to create ones. And thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Krystian.
Thanks a lot. Thanks.